Welcome to VidDevo, Mississippi. This is really just a test.
I'm hungry.
And just like Scooby-Doo, I'm kind of getting a little hungry to get on with what we're going to be doing going down the Mississippi River. You see, I've been making my plans and I've been getting them ready. I've been making a list and checking it twice, and quite frankly, I don't know who's naughty or nice, but really what we're doing is we're just trying to get kind of a handle on filming with this cell phone. And since we're doing a lot of filming with a variety of venues that aren't GoPro, I should apologize to GoPro. I don't have anything against GoPro per se, but the fact of the matter is I gave away a GoPro knockoff to some guys on the river, so that they could do their filming, because I'm not much when it comes to doing videos anymore as much as I used to be. You see, I've been a preacher and I've done a lot of videos that are all over the internet, so to me it's kind of second nature. And frankly, using a selfie stick like I'm holding in my hand, as you can see right here or right here, the whole idea behind testing this is to see what the quality of the type of environment, with the lights being such as they are, and I'm going to get a lot of backflash from the water itself. I'd rather do some kind of rough outs and raw video to get across the message that I'm trying to convey when we're talking about VidDevo Mississippi. So this is a test of the VidDevo Mississippi series that you can find on YouTube. Now, my YouTube channel has a lot of other things going on, of course. I have Bible studies, and I have in-depth studies. I have prophecy series. I have all kinds of things all over the place. I've even done some thesis work on my YouTube channel, VidDevo, or Michael James Stone, either one. I have a whole bunch of YouTube channels out there all over the place. So you might find them, you might not. But the point of it all being is more about kayaking than actually talking about religion, because really I pretty much leave religion to man, because that's what religion is anyways. It's man's interpretation and application of what he's interpreting in his relationship to God or higher power or spirituality or soulful experience or whatever you want to call it. Now that's religion. I didn't say that was faith. I said that's religion. Every man has a religion. Some people are very religious about their football. I'm going to be on the river for the Super Bowl, so I'm not sure if I'm going to see it or not. If I happen to be able to pick it up on Wi-Fi, maybe. If not, I'm not going to lose my cookies because I didn't see the Super Bowl. But there are people that could tell you statistics, numbers, names, all kinds of things. Well, that's their religion. They are very religious about their football. Now, I'm not quite religious about kayaking either, but there are some people that paddle canoes that are very religious about their canoes. They get into the spiritual aspects of it. They aren't really just selling you a experience or telling you about something you can do, like I'm just trying to tell you what you could do, but they are very much into it. They will fight till they die, so to speak, or at least till they get convinced otherwise, that canoes are the ultimate godlike experience of traveling down the river. They scare the willies out of me. But I'm not that convinced about kayaks either. It happens to be one that I enjoy, and I love inflatable kayaking because I can get into that sport inexpensively. So if you're into expensive sports and you want high quality, high def, variety, and maybe better presentation than what I'm going to be doing, then you have the options, because you can go buy CDs or go get all these other things that are provided free, like at Rivergator or Minnesota Department of Natural Resources or U.S. Coast Guard. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there that you can get to learn about kayaking and the Mississippi River. You don't have to watch me. My God. I write books only because I'm a writer. It's something I like doing. I like to be able to look over at my bookcase and say, hey, look at that. And the bookcase is filled with my books. How's that for an ego? But that's the reality of what writers do. We write. So when I get into presentations like this, I'm putting out raw data to demo my iPhone to kind of get a handle on where I see there's going to be issues on filming on the river. So that way, when I come back to edit it and present something that, might be worthwhile for people to see, or who knows, maybe I'll turn it into Tribeca or Hollywood or sell it to Discovery Channel. Not. But when you see these kind of fun-loving, enjoyable YouTube channel videos, maybe you'll have fun yourself getting out on the water and recording yourself or telling your children or grandchildren the story of your adventures. Because you see, the story of us isn't just the story of them and something you can watch on television by some slick writer who's putting together some drama that you'll say, that's like me. Well, I personally think that real life is more than what you see on television. I personally think that everyday life is a great American adventure. I think that every day that you get out of bed, you have an adventure just waiting right before you walk out that door. It could be very adventurous just making it to the bathroom. I mean, dare I say that for me, being disabled, hey, I've got a lot of issues when it comes to Crohn's disease and ostomies and things like that. But for you, it may be a whole different story. It may be that you're older and you just look forward to that morning devotional. Morning constitutional, really. So, deconstructing what I'm saying, what I'm trying to tell you is that every day is an adventure. It's just the way you approach it. If you look at it as a drag, then you're dragging your butt out of bed and you're hauling yourself to work and you're just living the life, that you've chosen to live. But you can experience more than that. You can have fun with it. You can have fun at work. You could have fun on the job. I did. Matter of fact, I used to work as a journeyman Boilermaker. Hard, sweaty, murderous work out there in the hot sun with welders and pipes and steam and, just things that you don't want to be doing 150 feet in the air or in power plants or around the country in hot climate weather. Well, I was making money. And you know what? They paid us by not, it was a company that we came in, we were non-union. So we'd come in, and I was paid, maybe $20 an hour or some stupid amount, that was ridiculous for really doing nothing. But I would come in, and sure enough, for the first 4 hours, maybe, of our week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we worked 12-hour days and we worked 7 days a week. So, the first, you figure it out. The first, 12 hours, first 8 hours of that day, Monday, Tuesday, 8, 16, 24, so pretty close to 3 days of work. The first 8 hours was, pretty straight time, about $20 an hour. But oh my God, the rest of the week, can't get enough of that overtime. Matter of fact, as soon as after 8 hours, from 8 hours to 12 hours before I got off, I was singing that song every day. Overtime, I loved it. I loved work. It was an adventure. I had fun at it, and I was paid to do that job, which I still couldn't believe that they actually pay these people or overpay them, as they will admit too. Every hard-working, son of a gun that's out there digging ditches is getting paid, $20, $30, or $40 an hour, from some job because either union or Bacon Davis wages or government paid or whatever. They know they're overpaid. They know darn well they're overpaid, but they take it anyways. Just like if you bought this, when I could give it to you free, I'd say, well, if you want to buy it, all right. Whatever you can pay, I'll take it, today. Because I'm poor, I'm not rich, I have been at times and I've been poor. I know how to abase and abound. I know how to get by with nothing and get by with a lot. And that's kind of why I'm making all these series and I like to go out on the river. Because you see, with my older age, I get by with less, and I have so much less, but I make it work more. Because when you have more money, you spend it. When I was in Alaska, I made a lot of money. I spent it. When I was down in doing these jobs as a journeyman Boilermaker, I spent it. You spend the money, and it's not about investment like some investment scheme manager, money maker that's trying to tell you how to retire. If you're going to wait till you retire, you're never going to spend the money on yourself, honey. you're going to wind up dying and leaving that money to the government. Trust me, they'll take it from you. Ain't no problem there. They're doing it every day. But the point of it is you could have an adventure in the meantime. You could go out on a weekend. You could go out in an hour. You could go after work down to the park. You could take your kayak out, especially if it's inflatable, or if you're one of those canoeists or, sea otters or whatever they are, that sea kayaking. You could take it down to someplace and just show off. Just go set it out there on the park, in the parking lot, and watch how fast kids will come up and want to talk to you. Matter of fact, I heard a man telling me that, he was fascinated because, he was telling the story about how kids would come up, and see him carving on a canoe, and thank God that he does that, because otherwise it might be a lost art that's gone. But I got news for you. Kids are interested in everything. You take your inflatable kayak like I'm going to do when I do my book signings and set it up, and people come flocking. You come out of your inflatable kayak on the beach on the Mississippi River and people will come. Kids will come. People will ask you questions. The point of it is that you are the adventurer. You are the hero. You could be a hero to someone. You could be someone who inspires someone. You could be Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn. As a matter of fact, you may not have ever thought about this, but let me see if I can get this thing kind of heading back towards me, because I've got these bars that are going across the camera. Can you see my eyes? Yes, you. I'm talking to you. You could be Scooby-Doo and inspire someone to do what you might not do yourself, and be inspiring, whether as a cartoon character or putting your hat on sideways or slideways, or rapping or tapping or making music or writing books, or dare I say commenting on Facebook and social media. Though social media is getting pretty negative nowadays. I mean, there's some good sides and there's some bad sides, but you got to watch out on the flip side, because if anything, more times than not, you're going to wind up finding that you're burning out and you're making presumptions or assumptions about other people, thinking they're, like a lot of people call me and tell me, why are you so mad about this? Because you wrote this. And I'm going, I wasn't mad. I was actually laughing. You were? Well, it didn't sound like it. How do you get sound out of something that's written verbally? I mean, wordily, from words. That's what's the problem with social media, is that people don't ask enough questions or make the right reading comprehension on a lot of what's happening on the media or in social media. So I'd rather talk about what's going on in a river, because we all can agree that's a boat and it's heading right towards you and you need to get out of the way. Now, it is interesting that I met a kayaker, one time, that was telling me, or posting anyways all over the internet, that he thought that he had the right of way when it came to barges on the Mississippi River. No, they pay to have the Mississippi River dug up, for a channel for transportation. It's paid, and my activities on the river are paid for by corporations, by businesses, by the government. So on the one hand, I can get, all uppity up about, what's going on with, trying to stop pipelines and Enbridge and this, that, and the other thing, or yell about this or yell about that and argue about this and be with part of the, conservationist crew and clean up the river and do all these wonderful things that in my day, I remember the 60s, and 70s, we had Earth Day. I mean, come on, we were doing that way before everybody thought of it. But even though we've come a long ways, you still have to accept the fact that technology is going to be a part of your natural experience. Nature should be a part of it being promoted and saved through technology, not exclude one from the other. So I'm a lot for, I like to see guys that can, carve canoes, or people that can make, paddle boats, and I'd love to go on a cruise on a paddle boat, though I don't have the money and I don't think that I would, but maybe I might someday, who knows. But really, when it comes to getting down to the nitty gritty, when it comes to just talking to you and me, I don't have the money. And I'm sure you probably can't afford, even if you're rich, to spend the money that much as I'm spending even on this little trip down the Mississippi River, which is about 400 miles. But what I see your opportunity to do is you can make your money go farther by simply enjoying what you got. Hey, if you don't have a kayak and you don't got a canoe, you could go out and, talk to some of these outfitters. Maybe they'll take you along just for the heck of it. Or you could walk down the banks of the river, and pick up trash without having to be a major organization to do it. You could probably just, get a camera like I have on my phone, and just make your own video. You can make your own kind of music. You can sing your own kind of song. You can really pull a Charlie Brown or a Peanuts and go out there and have fun. Be a Sesame Street character. Be Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn. Take Scooby-Doo with you in your heart wherever you go. Or be like the Minions singing that "Because I'm happy, do 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 do," whatever it is that happy song is. Because I love it, but I can't sing it. I don't remember it that well. But I play it and it'll be a part of this video probably because this is a demo. But demoing things like this gives me the opportunity to just throw out there 1,000 ideas without having to have a script or having to promote something, or tell you about something specific on a topic. And so that way we get to relate and to rap with each other. Because really what I want to do is eventually get a better quality setup so that I can do campfires on the Mississippi. Now, I started a book called Campfires on Mississippi series, and I had to change it over to Tall Tales from the Mississippi because Campfires on the Mississippi is something I want to do with people telling personal stories, personal oral histories, of things and places and times and events that they've gone through while they're sitting around a campfire, maybe roasting marshmallows, I don't know. But I think it would be and capture an idea that would be good for a series of videos, Campfires on Mississippi, that it may be campfires, period, series, and might have to be from all over the place. But I might talk people into sending me their campfires on the Mississippi or posting their own version of it once I get kind of a format going, just basically, hey, here's how I do it, you try it, and maybe it'll catch on, maybe it won't. But I think it would be interesting when you start relating your story to all those other war stories that you hear about. Oh, look at a great American hero, I mean, one of the most hilarious things I ever hear is about how every soldier is a great American hero, and how they defended the country and they preserve our freedom. Well, I'm a Vietnam vet, so I'm kind of glad that we've gone full circle. But now worshiping, the military, no, that's not our shtick. And you're not going to find a Vietnam vet any more impressed about you thanking them than they were when you were spitting on them. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. War is hell, and it was never meant to be something that you send people to go do. You should get away from war, not head towards war. And you're not saving yourself from war by fighting a war in a foreign land. It doesn't work that way. It's coming back to you no matter what you say. And there are more people dying from terrorist attacks by Americans than there are by, frankly, other people that just want to get here in order to see if it's true that we're just as mean and ornery as we say we do. Or are we more like river folk? Wouldn't you rather live on the river and make your lifestyle like on the river where you help? Help is as help does. I mean, that's the way it works. Or you see someone on the river and you give them a hand. You give them a beer. You help them with water. You transport them if you can. Loving your neighbor wasn't something that was just for religion. It was actually meant to be a way of life, a lifestyle choice. And while Tina Turner sang about, people on the river are happy to give, it's true. The more you give, the more you get. And I'm not talking about some prosperity doctrine of some preacher that's going to try to pickpocket you by telling you, the more you give, the more you get, so give me your money. Honey, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just turning the other cheek about helping someone else along the way, Because even as I go down the river, I remember, when I started on the Mississippi River in 2016, I remember going to a River Angel's house, and I wound up giving more than I got. I wound up sharing meals of my larder, which I didn't really have a lot, but I did. I took a lot of my gear out, because the person was hurting at the time and needed it. Then the next couple days, they wound up getting on their feet, and they were fine, and they helped me. That's the way it works, Help is as help does. You just help out and help someone else, and guess what? It'll come back to you. You call it kismet, I'll call it reap what you sow, but we can all leave it somewhere along the way and let it go and let it flow, because that's what happens on the river. The river's going to flow no matter what you do. Whether you're a good guy, a bad guy, a mean guy, a sad guy, the river's going to flow. So let your love flow like a mountain spring, or let your love go to every living thing. I'm trying to remember that song, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the reason, There we go. Hey, we got half of it out there. But really, the bottom line is that, if you'll get outside, and realize that it's not all about, hunting, fishing, and killing things, but it can be about, enjoying those things when a hunter brings home some food, or a fisherman brings home a catch, or you get a chance to sit around the campfire and talk about how far you paddled and how far yet you've got to go. Or just frankly, having someone to share your common experiences. And that's what we're going to do on Mississippi River, or I should say Mississippi. There we go. Let's get back. Close in. No, back up. That nose is too big. Back up. Okay. That's what we're going to do on the Mississippi, or VidDevo Mississippi. And this was a test of the emergency broadcast system. Should you experience too much stress and too much, anxiety and angst on your social media, then get out of there. Go on the river. Go down the Mississippi River. Go up the Mississippi River. Go around the Mississippi River. But for God's sakes, get on the Mississippi River. At least if you're watching VidDevo Mississippi.